All right, guys, we're back. It's 20 minutes until lock. I'm back at my home computer, my dragon's laird, if you will. I had a crazy week of traveling, but I would be remiss if I didn't give you my quick thoughts on my spy lineup before lock, so there's no revisionist history after. Let's get the elephant out of the room. Just get this taken care of nice and quick. We are playing Patrick Laird. Earlier in the week, he was up at 22% projected ownership, but then we received a gift from the heavens in Bilal Powell chalk week. I think Ty Montgomery is going to be involved a decent bit. I think Powell's a fine play. He's cheap. He's 3,500. He's, you save 600 if you go down from Laird to him. But when I built out the rest of my lineup, there weren't any other places I was getting huge upgrades, even if I did, somehow lose the faith and not play Patrick Laird, as if that would ever happen. But for all of you, eating that Bilal Powell chalk today, I don't blame you. I'm going to eat some chalk of my own today, but I do think Patrick Laird became a much better play at 7.8% than he did at 22%, as it looks like RG has them here. Other thing is about this lineup is I, along with being a member of the Church of Patrick Laird, I am a member of the Church of the Blitz, and Derek Carty convinced me that you just need to play both Alvin Kamara and Michael Thomas today. They're both just way too cheap. These ownership percentages, this is the first time I've really looked at ownership this week, because I just play the best plays and we see where the chips fall after that. But you're going to see there's a few things I'm going to do with this lineup that I think are going to make it relatively unique. But playing Alvin Kamara and Michael Thomas at these prices in the dome, and I don't think I need to play them with Drew Brees either. You could definitely do that if you're playing both of them, but I think because they represent such a huge portion of the offense that you can just get your full exposure there. And even if that game doesn't shoot out, you don't really need it to if Alvin Kamara and Michael Thomas are soaking up as many of the touches as they generally do. So yeah, I'm going to just play the best plays. I'm going to play those guys. I am going to play a Sam Darnold stack. All week, I've wanted to play a Sam Darnold to a pass catcher with Patrick Laird on the other side. We are going to stick with that plan. I heard, I think Silva this morning was saying that Ryan Fitzpatrick is who everyone wants to play. At the same price on DraftKings, to me, Darnold's easily the play. We talked about that on the show with Josh ADHD this week, looking at how bad the Dolphins are in the secondary. So I think you can make a case to pair him with both Robbie Anderson and Jamison Crowder. But the way my lineup shook out, I kind of wanted to go skinny stack Pete here as opposed to a full game stack. I'm going to have a few lineups where I have Darnold with both Crowder and Robbie, because I think they both can get there. But I'm going to save the 200. I believe there's a little bit of an ownership discount on them too. What do we got? Anderson here at 11.1. We are going to have Crowder coming in at, let's see here. What's Crowder coming in at? Where are you, buddy? 10.3. So actually that kind of surprises me. I think that has flipped a little bit, but to me, Crowder, has the higher floor. Obviously, Robbie Anderson has the higher ceiling. Because I am being a little bit chalkier in some of these other spots, I like kind of having the boom bust nature of Robbie Anderson. He's also just one of my guys. I have a hard time quitting him, and this is the matchup to use him. This is the matchup. So I'm willing to ride or die with Robbie Anderson. Speaking of chalk, I was, based on this lineup, I'm able to fit in Kamara, Thomas, McCaffrey, who I think are, the three best plays on the slate. To do that, we have to punt tight end. Luckily, like last week with Higbee, there's another very good punt tight end this week, Ian Thomas. He is going to be popular. Not quite Higbee popular, because we're not having to deal with the flow chart, another church of which I am a member of. But Ian Thomas, there was talk about people worried about him. Like there was that tweet about it being a committee, but it's like, it's a fullback and some other six-string tight end. Ian Thomas is legitimately athletic. I believe there was a stat that anytime he's played without Greg Olsen, he's gotten an average of 6 targets. So again, at 2,500, when I was even looking at the blitz, when we looked at our best values here at tight end, I do really like Waller this week, but I would have to come off McCaffrey to make that happen. Let me sort by this main slate. We see, Ian Thomas clearly ahead of the rest. Kittle, Waller, very good plays. But for this lineup, Ian Thomas, that leaves me with another receiver that people haven't been talking about a lot this week. And I really like Deante Johnson. I had a lot of success last week targeting this Cardinals secondary with Higbee and Robert Woods. James Washington is who people, seem to want to gravitate toward here. Even if you want to get in the weeds with the matchup, maybe Patrick Peterson is seeing more of James Washington. I can't imagine he would be covering Deante Johnson or shadowing him. So it's a really nice matchup. Check out this ownership here at 3.6%. He's seeing similar amounts of targets. I mean, he had 5 targets, 6 targets. He even got a rushing attempt, which, even boosts his floor a little bit there. So Deante Johnson is kind of, for me, one of those differentiators here with a lot of chalk. McCaffrey, Thomas, the Saints. He's one of those guys that helps me if he hits, really differentiating myself from the field. He's also a little bit of a late game hammer, which we like there at the 425 slot. So yeah, Deante Johnson's been a guy I've wanted to play, and he just hasn't gotten the hype. I don't know why people aren't on him, just considering how awful the Cardinals are. And yeah, I'm excited to have Deante Johnson at this ownership and at this price. I think what's going to end up happening with tournaments is because of Bilal Powell opening up, because people want to play Paris Campbell at 3,200, I think you're going to see a lot of this mid-range go overlooked. I would actually be surprised wouldn't be surprised if Robbie Anderson was even a little less owned in the SPY, because people are going to skip over this area and boost up to, the higher equity plays just because they can, because you can afford it by punting with Ian Thomas and Bilal Powell. So we have just a few slight pivots here to make us unique. Patrick Laird instead of Bilal Powell. I think a lot of people are going to be playing Devontae Adams instead of Michael Thomas. I personally think Crowder's going to come in higher than Robbie Anderson. I don't think hardly anyone's going to play Deante Johnson. So I like some of these pivots here. And again, I'm just playing the best plays, making some slight pivots to make sure I don't have just a total chalk lineup, which I don't think I will, in that I don't think ultimately Darnold to Anderson is going to be massively popular. I think that'll be enough of a differentiator. And then I was just debating between some of these defenses down here, Colts, Cardinals, Bucks. I think you can make a case for all of those. Let me see what Cardi has those as. I think I've been leaning towards the Colts and just trying to chase some of those Jameis Winston interceptions. He's been so forgiving in that regard. So he has the Bucks as one of the best points per dollar plays, but let's see, raw points. He has the Bucks and Colts. Yeah, I think I want to take a stab on the Colts here. I guess I am going to lose my faith in the blitz. But again, we're splitting hairs right here, right? 7.24 versus 6.84. I just think that Jacoby Brissett's going to be a little bit more careful with the ball than Winston is. And I'm just trying to get a pick 6. So I am going to play the Colts here, use my full salary. This is my lineup here for the SPY. Bankroll challenges doing well. We have $250 even after today's entry fee. Let's see if we can keep the good times rolling. I believe I made a few promises if I 5X. I believe I said I would buy an iPhone or acquire an iPhone. And what else did I say I would do? There was one other thing. I think I'm going to get a giant lion canvas painting. So lots to look forward to. If I can 5X here, it's going to be a fun day. I'm excited to watch my boy Patrick Laird. So yeah, we'll check in after the games.
We smashed. Oh, I'm recording this Monday morning. I normally record it, or when I'm at home, I normally record it on Sunday evenings right after when I'm all juiced up on energy, but I was spiritually and emotionally, physically, mentally drained after a long week of travel and a long week of, just getting my hands dirty, pouring my blood, sweat, and tears into a lineup that 6x'd. 6x'd, guys. Holy cow. We finished out of 3,333 people in 54th place. We normally wait to go to the spreadsheet. Normally, because going to the spreadsheet's pretty depressing. Let's just go to the spreadsheet first, and then we'll backtrack over here. Week 14. How many points did we put up here? A cool 177.2. Boom. Boom. What was the cash line? Look at all these peasant min cashers here. Let's see. Where did they finish? 729, 144.28. Got it done today for a min cash. What's that a difference of? No, that can't be right. Something's up with my math. What do? We do this minus this. Is that what we normally do? What's wrong with my spreadsheet right now, man? I'll just do it manually. Just because once I got good at DFS, I couldn't devote as much time to being a spreadsheet maven. So 32.92 difference. And I think I need to make this like teal green. I mean, because we just crushed the cash line. 54th, I believe we said, out of 333. And here's the best part of all, guys. Here is the best part of all. 54th place took down $600. 600 bad boys. $600, moving the current bankroll to $850. Let me just wind back the tape for you guys, lest you forget. There was talk about whether I could even make it to the end of season. Up through week 11, I was down to my last $100. I had min cashed exactly once over 11 weeks. People were Venmoing me entry fees. I started a GoFundMe Davis Kickstarter to help us raise money to support us playing DFS, just so you guys could make fun of how awful I was. There were people who thought I wasn't trying. Can you imagine? How rich would you have to be to just punt off $1,000? Come on, guys. Look at this, though. Week 12. I kid you not. You see what it says right above me? I got good at DFS after the Laird entered my life. You'll notice the head-to-head GPP versus Frisco Josh, where I first played Patrick Laird. His 2 points that week, literally the difference in helping me win that head-to-head GPP. Boom. Double up. $200. Next week, single entry. We min cash plus $250. This week, we finish top 60 in the SPY for $600. This is a rocket ship emoji. My bank account looks like Patrick Laird's snap counts over the past 4 weeks. We are on a rocket ship to winning the SPY. Patrick Laird came into my life and I got good at DFS. Hashtag testimonials. There are so many people I'm still praying for out there. Oh my goodness, I see all these things. You can't play Patrick Laird in DFS this week. You can't play him. Why? Why? Because he outscored Alvin Kamara and outscored Leonard Fournette? Or no. Okay. No, I hear you. This is why. It's because you can play Bilal Powell. Or it's because you can play Duke Johnson instead. No. It's because you can play Paris Campbell for cheap. He outscored all of them. Jeez. Man, it's going to be sore coming down from my high horse after this show. Going to have to do some hip flexor exercises, just trying to get off down that high horse. Wow. Look at this. Not only, so the initial goal was to win a tournament. Then we quickly realized, How about we just try to make it 16 weeks, which then we started to do that. And then it was, holy cow, we are $150 off from having a profitable GPP challenge. They say you can't be profitable in GPPs. Well, I'm out here to prove them wrong. Single entry GPP. Please, actually, no, put some respect on my name. I am now 6X Pete. Praise the Laird. Hashtag 6X Pete. Coffee tastes extra sweet this morning. Yeah, so we have week 15, we have week 16, we potentially have week 17. Hell, we might even do something in the playoffs. I don't know. We'll see what our benevolent leaders over at hashtag corporate think. But look, I'm ready to keep the good times rolling. I legitimately think I've gotten better at DFS. I have simplified my process. I talked about it on the show with Josh ADHD. I've stopped listening and consuming so many different things that on Sunday mornings, I'm thinking about the slate through a more clear-eyed perspective. I don't have as much noise bouncing around. I'm focusing on the best plays. I am doing ownership. I am factoring it in, but very loosely. I am not staring at ownership percentages. I'm honestly more doing ownership by feel. You know, I'm building my lineup because what I was doing before is I was legit looking at ownership and then I would be like ruling guys out just because of ownership. And that was bad. And I've stopped doing that. I still very much believe ownership matters. However, I believe that there are ways, more subtle ways to get unique than just blindly Xing guys out because they're going to be popular. I mean, this week, I thought that I was listening to Cardi on the Blitz show, and he was talking about why Michael Thomas was just such a smash must play. And I agreed with him. You know, it was the perfect storm. I mean, to get Michael Thomas at 12.3%, at 8,300 at home, when he's been up here at 9,500, I mean, this is the pinnacle of defenses don't matter. Shout out my head-to-head GPP partner, opponent, Frisco Josh. And we got the added benefit of the tough matchup on paper plus coming off of the Thursday primetime Thanksgiving dud. People felt burned by Michael Thomas, but he was a screaming value at this price. And sure, I ate it with Kamara, but I agreed on that too. I don't think if you would have told the general public, look, it's going to be a 48-46 game in the Superdome, Alvin Kamara would have been 95% owned. No joke. If you told people almost 100 points were going to be scored in the Superdome, Alvin Kamara would have been close to 100% owned. The one elephant in the room about this lineup is don't ask me to do the math if we would have played Drew Brees. Playing Drew Brees instead of Sam Darnold was a $9,400 swing. It's there. I just knocked myself down off my high horse. I didn't do the math on an Alvin Kamara to Aaron Jones, but I actually wasn't considering that, so that doesn't get me at all. I was going to play Alvin Kamara no matter what, but Drew Brees was $100 less than Sam Darnold. I still, though, I believe I said it at the top of this video that I felt like I could get most of my exposure to the Saints via Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara, and boy, was that wrong. When, we got every random tight end on the Saints scoring touchdowns and Drew Brees going off for 43.06 points. So yeah, that's an interesting thing. But again, I could probably rethink my logic on that with I could get most of my exposure to Sam Darnold via Robbie Anderson. But I did think, and I was clearly wrong, I thought the game environment was better with Jets-Dolphins for points than it was for San Fran and New Orleans. And clearly I wasn't alone in thinking that because 12.3% Michael Thomas, if people actually thought this score was going to be even let's even say a half of this, he would have been 35% owned. It was just an absurd price for Michael Thomas, who has, I mean, outside of Christian McCaffrey, and maybe even as Eclipse, McCaffrey has the highest ceiling floor combo in hashtag NFL, hashtag DFS, hashtag DraftKings, hashtag full points PPR. So just a couple other things. I mean, you already heard me kind of describe my thought process on this lineup. The Colts, the Bucks to Colts difference ended up being very big. Attacking Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston has a massive game. It doesn't matter. He's going to throw those interceptions. You get the defensive touchdown, and boom, we're good to go there. Ian Thomas, like I said, I think that, you know, if he was priced up in the 3,500 range or whatever, then I'm definitely looking to get up to Waller or Kittle or one of those guys. But at 2,500, what he allowed you to do, when I realized I could get Ian Thomas, who I thought was going to get what he got. I mean, the touchdown's gravy, right? I thought he would get 5 to 6 receptions in a really good environment game at 2,500, just like Higbee last week. And I just think you can't pass that up because it allowed me to play Kamara, McCaffrey, and Michael Thomas, get a stack I liked a lot in Sam Darnold and Robbie Anderson, and didn't leave me in a dead man zone. I didn't want to play Paris Campbell. You know, I didn't want to have to dumpster dive way down there. There was a guy I liked, Deante Johnson, and this lineup just fit. It was one of those where the puzzle pieces came together, and I felt really, really good about it. So, yeah, Deante Johnson, that kind of shocked me at 3.2%. I mean, he had such a sick game. Again, obviously the punt TD, even if we take that away, go ahead, we can take it away. 19.6 points at 3.2% ownership. I don't even know the matchups. Was Peterson shadowing Washington? That was just going to be like a bonus. But this Cardinals team, I mean, we just watched them. Teams against the Cardinals play the most plays of any other game environment. The Cardinals allow the most plays per game of anyone, and their secondary gets rocked week after week. I mean, we just had Higbee and Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp just destroy them. So Deante Johnson, who is getting similar volume to James Washington, at this price and this ownership in that game environment was just a smash to me. It was a smash, and that was a really fun late game hammer. Like watching him out there, and we'll bounce over to the Bankroll Challenge GPP, which I got second in. I lost by 0.68 points. There was that one screen pass in the fourth quarter to Deante Johnson on that final drive that got tipped at the line of scrimmage. If he catches that, I shit my own GPP. That would have been cool. But hey, we can't complain. I don't know what else to discuss with this lineup. I mean, this was like a slightly below average game for McCaffrey. He still gets 24.5 points. Patrick Laird, man. Earlier in the game, they were kind of running him right up the line of scrimmage, and it was frustrating because that would have happened to literally anyone. The Jets have a very stiff interior rush defense, and so that was frustrating. But then we started to see things open up a little bit. I mean, let me show this clip. I pulled this one for Twitter. Where is it? This Patrick Laird jump cut right here. Making guys miss in the open field. They started checking down to him a little bit. What did he finish with? So he had 38 receiving yards, 48 rushing yards, 4 receptions. This is what we knew we were getting. We also knew he would have gotten goal line work if he got there. I mean, and again, at 4.3%, the Bilal Powell was a fine play. But from an ownership perspective, for 600 more, I mean, let's see if we can figure out how highly owned was Bilal Powell in this contest. Oh, there he was. 49%. 49%. Had a very similar, he had more rushing yards, which makes sense. He had a better rushing matchup, and then 2 receptions for 14 yards. And we knew Patrick Laird was going to be projected to catch probably a few more balls than Bilal Powell. So yeah, Patrick Laird, he gets it done at 4,100. Made sense because I like this game environment. I always was going to play Robbie Anderson. Yeah, I don't know. This is one of those weeks where it all comes together, but it came together in a way that didn't feel forced. I looked at the blitz. I knew I had to play Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara. I knew I loved this Jets-Dolphins game environment. I was going to play Darnold to Robbie. I was obviously playing Laird. Ian Thomas was one of the best values on the slate at 2,500. Wasn't going to miss him. Deante Johnson, I thought, was another one of the best values on the slate at 4,300. And then that left me with 2,400 for defense. I was debating between Colts and Bucks. Ended up saying, hey, Jameis Winston throws lots of picks. We'll play them. Boom. That's a lineup. That's a 6X lineup right there. I just didn't overthink it. I played the best plays. We had some slight pivots. I believe, did Jamison Crowder come in higher owned than Robbie? This would probably take me too long to find, but we'll try here just real quick, just because I'm curious. Why isn't this changing over? I don't know. DraftKings is tweaking right now a little bit. I'm just seeing if I could find this is really entertaining. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it. Probably because he didn't. Oh, there he is. 17.2% versus Robbie's 18.8. That actually surprised me. I thought Crowder was going to get more heat just because people, rightfully perceive Robbie Anderson more as a boom bust kind of guy. So, yeah, or what was I trying? The point I was trying to make was a few subtle tweaks on ownership, playing Patrick Laird over Bilal Powell, playing Michael Thomas over Devontae Adams, who I know burned a lot of people. But even then, you can see here that it's not hard to get that unique, right? We ate a lot of chalk. Kamara, McCaffrey, Robbie ended up being fairly popular. Darnold ended up being fairly popular. Ian Thomas was chalky. Even the Colts were fairly popular. All of a sudden, you get really the only two plays, Deante Johnson and Patrick Laird. Deante Johnson was the difference maker. When you get a cheap wide receiver at 3.2%, and he scores 25.6 points, you're going to be in really, really good shape. First place lineup, pretty sick lineup, just attacking that Saints defense with a Garoppolo, Sanders, Kittle, bringing it back with Michael Thomas. He had his punt running back there, Duke Johnson, Melvin Gordon, of course, getting Robbie in there. Like I said, if you swap out Drew Brees on my lineup for Sam Darnold, I did the math earlier. I finish in third place. Third place for 10K. That would have been cool. But we got to build the drama, We got to build the drama. We're working our way up. If we go 200, 250, 10,000, that's just too quick. This is an exponential log graph. Is that the right word? I'm not a math major, but I think so. We're going to log this. So I think next week's like 10,000, and then we ship it the week after. I did want to hop over to the Bankroll Challenge League. We got another 100 people in there this week. I ran out the exact same lineup, so don't need to talk about that. I did mention I was 0.68 out of shipping it. In first was 49ers. What's his full name? 41LF3. I believe he's on Twitter as DFSDgen. I liked this game that he did. He went for the stack with Deshaun Watson, DeAndre Hopkins, Kenny Stills. I thought that was going to end up being fairly popular, but it relatively was. What's interesting about this is obviously Watson to Hopkins was a smash. Stills bombed, but what really saved him, because if I made a team like this, I would have brought it back with Cortland Sutton, just because I'm hoping for that game environment, but Cortland Sutton didn't do anything. So him having the restraint to go no bring back really allowed him to win this contest. Then we had some overlapping plays. He played Bilal Powell over Patrick Laird. I'll allow it. Barely. Ian Thomas at tight end, Michael Thomas at wide receiver, and then he had Freeman in there as his third running back, which ended up being really nice. I mean, that was the difference. I played Kamara, and when you play Freeman over Kamara, that's very nice. Also had Colts defense. So another nice game stack here. I mean, it looked like the Texans were just toast, but garbage time is a beautiful thing. So shout out to DFS DGen, Mr. 49ers here. Should we see where Soccer Dave was? Soccer Dave was sending me messages last week that this contest was like shooting fish in a barrel. What did he roll out? Okay, very on brand. I know. Oh yeah, Derek Carr. This is such a Soccer Dave lineup. I know. I love seeing Soccer Dave on the Laird train. He has Derek Carr. You got a cheap QB. That's Soccer Dave through and through. Getting in one of his Titans there. If he just switches that, although he was a lot cheaper, Corey Davis, $3,900. I believe A.J. Brown was $5,300. A lot of sharp people were on Corey Davis. It was just A.J. Brown being a grown-ass man, you know? And then bringing it back, or not bringing it back, Carr to Waller. I like that a lot. And he did both of the punt guys, Laird and Powell, to get in Christian McCaffrey and Hopkins, who smashed. So nice showing by Soccer Dave. We got Kyle Murray in here. What did he have? Matt Ryan to Julio. That was very contrarian. Paris Campbell. He should have played Patrick Laird, bud. Should have played Patrick Laird. Joe Mixon, though. That's a sick play, man. That was a sick play. What was his price? $5,800. Yeah. Very nice. Sharp. Very sharp. I like him going this game stack from the other side. I was a little tempted to have a Kyle Allen lineup this week, and that would have been very dumb. I like him attacking the Falcons and then bringing it back with DJ Moore. So yeah, I'll get this link posted again, and we'll keep doing this for as long as the Bankroll Challenge is going on. Very fun to compete against you guys. And yeah, so this was a week, guys. Very, very fun, nice week. I believe I did make some promises on Twitter. I said, if I 5X in the SPY this week, I will buy a burner iPhone just to text with Patrick Laird. Updating this, if I 5X in the SPY, I'll get a burner iPhone and this lion painting for my office. So I am in the process of acquiring an iPhone. That's all I'll say. I am going to acquire an iPhone. I'm a man of my word, and I will also be getting a lion painting. That's what happens when you throw promises out like that. That's what happens. Well, thank you guys for watching. Bankroll Challenge. It's alive and well. It was on life support there, and then the Laird came into my life, and he saved it. So shout out to my Laird and Savior, Patrick Laird, and we will see you guys next time.